All right. Okay, so we are live right now. I'm going to check quickly and then I do the introduction. I always need to check if everything is everything is going well on YouTube as well.
Yes, absolutely.
Sometimes I'm just gonna hit there. Yeah, it is. Okay, so great. Well, first of all, welcome everyone that is going to join us live. Welcome, Victoria Paramour. I just double checked the last name one more time.
You got it.
Yeah, I got it right. And yeah, I was just mentioning to Victoria, she's like super laid back and easygoing, and everything is just like, sure, let's do it. So, what we're going to do today is quite a bit of volume we're going to cover. And I just wanted to have a quick introduction to Victoria's end of the work. And I'm just going to, honestly, because there's so much, I'm going to share quickly my screen as well, because Victoria, I'm just always impressed when I see what you're doing. So I just wanted to make sure that everybody has a little bit of an overview. If you haven't been to her website, it is in our classroom. I'm going to post it one more time over here as well. But basically, Victoria has quite a few success stories over here in marketing. You also have automation of tasks and in general workflows. It looks like a humongous knowledge base there. I love that you have data-driven results. So you're offering all of these type of services, but then again, you have awards and certification. If people don't know what this all means, I can only say it's amazing, especially also the Grant Cardone one. You got a Warner Robbins Rockstar Award. You are a pro in Asana, it looks like. So you are a true strategist when it comes to marketing, ads, workflows, and everything else. So I just wanted to point out, if you haven't checked out her website yet, go ahead and do this. And just wanted to put this up front as well. You do offer a free call, a schedule free strategy call as well. So you can just hop over to Work With Me and you will be able to book a free strategy call if you're interested in her services and also in everything she has to offer, actually. So today, Shalene said already, I so prefer Asana over ClickUp. I have never worked with ClickUp, actually.
I also prefer Asana over ClickUp. ClickUp is great. It's a great tool, but Asana beats it. Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry, ClickUp.
Yeah, no, it's so true. So, Kimberly, hi everyone, and great topic to learn about this week. Thanks, Katrine, Victoria, for sharing. And also, Shalene, excited to be here. Thank you, Katrine, for the opportunity. Well, this one is really mostly coming from you, but Victoria, I'm going to hand over to you. Maybe I forgot to introduce myself quickly for the ones that don't know me. My name is Katrine Burkholz, and I am the owner of AI Grim and AI Grim Society. So it's an AI-driven platform that makes everyday work in business much, much easier. And also what we have seen a lot, especially with these workshops as well, is the implementation, the action is happening much, much faster if you have a helper available to pretty much put the learned theory into practice immediately. So you will be getting access to all of the prompts as well. Just quickly, you should have all received an email with the invitation to AI Grim. So when you come over here, you will see that there is ads with Victoria, retargeting. You will be able to use those AI prompts throughout the workshop as well. But everything that Victoria teaches, you can also do without the prompts. Those ones are here to really help you to just talk back and forth with someone, AI, if you need any help. So that is what you should have received access to. So check your emails, check your spam folders, check your junk folders. That's sometimes where all of these first invitation emails land. Then quickly, just our classroom. There is now the classroom available. You should be able to see who is Victoria. Again, there are all the links there. You will also find more information already in the first workshop, and the rest here will come live tomorrow. And then also we have a Q&A day next week after you're able to implement everything. So this whole week is here to really learn, go deep, take everything in, implement it if you can immediately, and then come with all of your questions next week. Go to the calendar, Thursday, 11 a.m. We're going to come back together to audit, go through your questions, tackle any kind of stumble stones you might have had, but maybe even ask them in between those days as well. And with that, I'm going to hand over to you, Victoria, and I'm going to just shut up now. So I'm going to stop. Perfect. Yeah, you can go ahead. Right. Oh, just sorry, quick question. When do you want to take questions if questions come in?
I don't mind doing them throughout. So I guess if people have questions, pop them in the chat. I'll try to keep a lookout on that. And whenever I come, hopefully to the end of a rambling point, then I'll answer your question and we'll go from there.
Okay, I will monitor them as well in case something is there. Okay, great. Thank you so much.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, is my screen actually sharing? I don't see it on my end. There we go. Perfect. Okay. All right. So hopefully all of you already know if you are watching this stream, but we are talking about retargeting mastery. And specifically what we're talking about is how do you have successful digital ads without burning a hole in your wallet, without spending all of your money, or without wasting it. So unlocking ROI or return on investment with budget-friendly ad strategies. So let me get the tech working. Here we go. So first off, hi, I'm Victoria Paramore. Luckily, Katrine's already introduced me a little bit, but I'm a freelance digital business manager. I like to think of myself as an organizer of entrepreneurial chaos, basically. So I am the person that when you are having fires pop up in your business and things aren't working right, or you're constantly having to go back and solve problems, I'm the person that you bring into the business to help alleviate some of that and prevent it from happening in the beginning. So I do automations work, I do digital ads work, I do workflow work. I even help with project management or team management on occasion, but I really love creating systems. That's my bread and butter. So a little bit about this workshop. Today specifically is going to be all about the strategy part of it, really. So today is going to be a lot more mind work. We're going to do some math together. You can see the list that I've got broken down here. We're going to talk a little bit about terminology, fundamentals of running digital ads. So what you need to know before you even create one. And then my specific funnel strategy that I'm going to teach you today. That's really the bread and butter of this workshop and how to optimize your budget. Tomorrow is going to be more about the actual implementation. So some of you may have never ran an ad before, and that's totally fine. We're going to talk about how do you actually set up an audience, an ad, and go through those steps a little bit more and what to look for in day 2. Okay. This is for entrepreneurs who have already validated their product or service. What I mean by that is basically you've sold it at least 10 times. The reason that this is specifically for that group of people, what you don't want to do is you don't want to run digital ads. You don't want to have successful digital ads, but then there's no product or service that people actually care about buying. You get a lot of people that, like, maybe you set up the ads completely correct. You've done everything right. You've optimized as well as you can. But if people don't want your product or service at the end of the day, ads are not going to be successful. It doesn't matter how much you market. When I say selling at least 10 times, that confirms that you have sold to probably more people than just like friends or family or somebody that you already know, and that at least you're getting a little bit of referrals, you're getting a little bit of success in whatever it is that you're pursuing, and now you're ready to amp that up and scale bigger with digital ads. This is also for the entrepreneurs who have some form of customer journey already built out, because what you don't want is you don't want to run super successful ads that bring in all these people, but then they have nowhere to go. So you need some kind of website, you need some kind of landing page, you need a payment processor, and preferably you need a way for people to receive their product or service and also supply you feedback so that you can always be improving it. That's all I mean by customer journey is how are people going to learn more about you? How are people going to pay you? How are people going to receive what you're promising? And how can people leave feedback so that you can always continue? If you've got at least these two things, then you are ready for digital ads in this workshop. So a little bit about me. I was formerly a COO. I did that for about 9 years, operating a business that was around $800,000 a year, had about 40 employees. After doing that for about 9 years, I decided to pursue something more independent, and I decided to pursue freelancing. I've been doing digital marketing in my COO role and since 2014. That's where I gained a lot of my skills. I did not go to a professional school for a long time. I did not do any kind of like professional education when it came to digital marketing. I did a lot of trial and error and wasting money. And that was my learning process for a long time. But back then it was also a lot easier. Facebook, you could just boost an image and it would get tons of likes and tons of views, and things have changed a lot since then. So I'm going to talk about the strategies that you can use today specifically, not how things worked in 2014 or so. The strategy that I've been teaching you today has brought in over 50 paid trials per month consistently for years on end to a brick and mortar martial arts studio. That was what I was the COO of. I was the COO of a local martial arts studio that then developed other programs like kids dance, after school and summer camp, adult fitness, and so much more. The system that I'm teaching you today has also brought in over 2,000 attendees to like local community events. And then of course, we're also talking about the digital space. And most recently, I was able to use a strategy and raise over $500,000 on a Kickstarter for a video game company. And we did that just last year. So it's the same exact thing. I actually even want to show you, let me see if I can change what I'm presenting here.
Victoria, can I just ask you in between, what was the budget for the $500,000 one?
We spent a little over $7,000.
Not bad at all.
So, do you have to accept when I share something, Katrina? Okay, perfect.
Now I got it.
Okay, perfect. All right, so this is just a nice little screenshot. This is the video game company's actual digital ads that I set up. You can see all of the data right here. Probably the most important thing is this cost per results deal. And if you don't know what this data means right now, don't worry. By the end of this workshop, you're going to know. We're going to do all the math together. But this is why it was so successful. And what I want to show you specifically, you can see that I had a test marketing campaign. You can see that I had an awareness campaign, an engagement campaign, and a traffic campaign. And that is exactly what I'm going to teach you how to do today. And results are going to vary based on industry. I don't want to give you like false promises that that's not true, but I guarantee that you can have incredible success within your industry using this method because it's very, very targeted.
It's 12 cents per result. That's incredible.
Yeah.
That's absolutely incredible.
Yeah. And like this 1.001. I mean,
I'm just like, holy moly, how did you do that?
You can find, if you want to see this screenshot later, you can also find it on my website. I think it's the very same one. So
yeah. Okay, cool. Thanks.
Yeah. All right. I just want to show you kind of what's possible. Let me pull up my little slide again. There we go. And yeah, all right. A little bit more about me. As Katrina also did say, I did end up getting some more formal marketing education later. I did programs such as the Cardone 10X marketing program, and I became certified in that. And at this point now, I've done a lot of work for other businesses, helping them promote in whatever ways that they need. And it's given me a lot of hands-on experience, which is awesome. All right. My question for you today, and you've probably seen this in the emails and the post on the school community as well, but if you could slip a $20 bill into an ATM and be guaranteed even $50 back, just 50, would you sit there and do it? Because I know I would. If I knew that I was slipping $20 into an ATM, and maybe it takes me even 5 minutes to do that, but I'm getting $30 back and I'm making $30 every 5 minutes, absolutely, right? I'm going to show you exactly how you can do this, not just this, but even create more through paid ads. All right. Before we dive right in, we need to understand a little bit of terminology. I do encourage you to take some notes if you have a notebook available. The super easy terminology is prospect is basically somebody that is interested in your product or service, but they have not actually bought from you yet. And a client is somebody who has actually purchased from you. The more complex terminology, I've got two of them for you today, is a CPC, or what we would call a cost per click. Cost per click refers to the math equation of the total amount of money you spent on an ad divided by the number of clicks to the website or the landing page. So how much did you have to pay if Katrine is my prospect here and she's clicking on my ad? How much did I technically have to pay Facebook or Google or whoever to get her to click onto that website? All right. And to do that, you're just going to take the total amount spent on ads, divide it by the number of clicks that you get on your website or your landing page, you know, for the duration of your campaign. So if you run it for 30 days, what is that amount after 30 days? This can also be known as pay-per-click, and you might see that on other platforms. So I want you to be aware of that as well, but it's the same exact thing. CPA is cost per acquisition. This refers to the average amount you had to spend to get a paying client. So somebody who doesn't know you at all, how much marketing budget are you having to spend in total before you actually get them as a paid client? So you would take the total you spend on all marketing efforts. That would be any of your paid ads. That would be any of like your organic stuff. Like if you, let's say you get like brochures printed off and you hand them out to people at stores or something, where you're at like a booth festival or something and you start handing out business cards or brochures or something. Like you had to buy the brochures or the business cards. Let's say you hire a marketing expert to come in and help you do that. You had to pay for that. That all goes a part of your marketing budget. So whatever that total spend is, divided by the number of new paying clients, right? This can also be known as client acquisition cost instead of cost per acquisition. Just want you to be aware of that terminology as well. Okay, let's dive in. Module number 1. Who's ready for this, by the way? Please leave a comment if you're ready to start learning some stuff. All right. I have one rule for you throughout this entire 3-day workshop, which is specific equals sales. Okay, specific equals sales. I cannot tell you how many times I have heard business owners say something like, I'll target my audience to everyone because everyone can benefit from my product or service. Don't do that. Okay, do not do that. It sounds counterintuitive to say that if you narrow in on your audience, you'll actually make more money, but it's very, very true. Because what you're doing is essentially in marketing, you have to learn how to tell stories. You are telling the story about triumph. You are telling the story about why a client needs your product or service in order to benefit. And if you are trying to tell a story to multiple people at one time, the story has to be very broad. It has to be very undetailed to make sense for everyone in the audience. And that's not what sells. To sell a story to a specific audience, you can be super detailed, you can be super specific about things, and you can relate to them with a pain that you have had in the past, and you know that they are having that same pain, and that's your key, okay? So instead of being like, I'll target my audience to everyone, target very specifically, and here's some things to think about. We want to think about gender, we want to think about their location in the world, so where do they actually live or where do they visit? What's their yearly salary probably in range of? Their current relationship status, spending habits, and hobbies and interest. And I believe one of Katrine's AI prompts is actually going to help you specify this audience. So if you don't know, if you don't have an answer to this yet, make sure to check out her AI prompts, and that can potentially help you develop what your audience is as well. Okay. What else should you do? Well, let's not say I'll promote these 4 products in one ad because each of them could potentially be useful to my audience. So let's say you sell like a coaching program and some notebooks and some t-shirts and you like offer a service. You're not going to develop one ad campaign for all 4 of those products and service. You're going to develop specific content and specific categories per one product or service. And again, you're going to try to make that as detailed as possible as well. So maybe you're a fitness instructor And instead of just saying that you are a fitness instructor and creating content around being a fitness instructor and creating ads around being a fitness instructor, maybe you're a fitness instructor who specifically helps older women because they've had previous injuries in their life. That is specific. That is a specific service. That is a specific audience type. And that's what you want to cater to. This is just a visual representation of what I'm talking about as well. So the funnel that I'm going to teach you today is represented by these little green triangles on the screen. What I don't want you to do is what's on the left side, where it's like one campaign funnel is focused on all these 4 different types of products and services. Instead, what I would rather you do is you can copy and paste what I teach you today for each of your products and service. So if you do have multiple things going on, create a campaign funnel specifically for your planners. Create a campaign funnel specifically for your speaking engagements. Create a campaign funnel specifically for coaching or your t-shirts, things like that. Okay. Any questions before we move on? I'll wait just a second for comments.
Yeah, I just wanted to note, while maybe people are commenting, is the idea, I think, or where the fear comes from often, is that I've got $20 a day, for example, but I really want to try everything.
Yeah.
And I think it's more the money fear that you put basically something, it's a risky thing, it feels like in the beginning, but once you have the right strategy, then of course not. But you feel like, I think that is the fear why people mostly step back from ads. It's like, which of my products is going to be actually the most valuable one to put into an ad? And
the really easy way to, I guess, answer that question is just ask people for free what they prefer, what they would need. Like, go on a business community, like Something on School, and start just asking people, like, create kind of your elevator pitch for each product or service, if you will, and then just ask people, like, hey, what would you need?
Yeah.
You know?
So what would you say to someone that does not have an audience right now, and they are just starting out, but they maybe have sold their products, let's say, on a market 10 times already? They could ask their market there, maybe the people, but have you heard that somebody is just new, they really want to go into ads, they have sold a few products already, but they don't have a Facebook group or a community necessarily?
You don't need a Facebook group or community to do paid ads at all. That's actually what the paid ad is doing for you. You're essentially paying either Meta or Google or whatever platform you're doing it on. You're paying them to go out and find the audience for you. So it's probably fantastic if you don't have an audience to be able to do paid ads to help you get an audience. If you have an audience already built up, either because you're a YouTuber or because you've got a school community or whatever, then honestly, you probably need paid ads less and less, unless your ability to produce your product or service isn't capped. So what do I mean by that? As a freelancer, I do a lot of work independently. I don't have like a large team. I don't really want a large team, if I'm perfectly honest with you.
Yeah.
But that does mean that my work gets capped. So I only serve like 3 clients at a time, typically. And so if I run a bunch of paid ads, as useful as they are, if I get all of these people who want to work with me and then I can't work with them, now I've got a capping problem. If you are selling, let's say, a digital product, like if you create a workshop that you're selling, or you create some kind of physical, like not physical, but maybe you create a digital planner and you're selling that, there's no cap on that, right? Like, people just download it.
Right.
They don't need your time. They don't need your specific service. So in that way, like, absolutely, let's run some paid ads, because the more paid ads and the more people that know you and that you're following the strategy for, the more sales you're going to get. Like, there is no cap. There is no restraint on your time, which is fantastic. Right. So that was actually, I was talking to somebody recently. She's got this really great kind of risk assessment product for schools to help evaluate where children are mentally. And she's like going into schools. She's physically walking into schools and talking to principals and stuff about her risk assessment. And I was like, what if you made this an online workshop that you could sell even when you're not working, so that you can, target 200 schools rather than like 5 schools.
Beautiful.
That's, it's little things like that at this point.
Yeah. Perfect example. Yeah.
All right. I haven't seen any questions come up, so I think we're going to move on. I saw Sheila say watching on YouTube, which thank you so much, Sheila. Appreciate that. All right. Module number 2, breaking budget beliefs. All right. This is the part where we're going to do some math, but don't let that scare you. I've got a calculator for you. It's going to be okay. All right. First of all, I would like to see in the comments, how much money do you think it costs to run a successful ad campaign? So how much money do you have to pay either Meta or Google to be like actually get whatever results that you're looking for? Maybe you want to get 5 more clients in a month. Maybe you want to get 50 more clients in a month. How much money do you have to pay them for that?
Do you mean in total or per day?
Either one. People can specify per day or per month or whatever you'd like. So I'm just curious to see some guesses. $100 I see from Kimberly. $20 a day from Blend Precisely.
Shalene says 100.
100, yeah.
100.
Yeah.
Okay.
Lots of hundreds. I think y'all like the whole number 100.
Yeah, no idea, Sheila. That's totally
Fair
fine.
enough, honestly. All right, cool. $6 a day. All right, that's the formula that I'm giving you today, is how to run successful ad campaigns for $6 a day. Now, when you do $6 a day, you're talking about $84 per 2 weeks, or you're talking about $181 a month. Now, one caveat I do want to give to this, because somebody is going, oh my God, that's almost $200 a month, and there's no way I can do that. That's all right. We're not talking about the fact that you would have to run these all month, every month to be successful. Let's say you have a specific event coming up. Let's say you have a launch coming up for a new product. You can run this for 2 weeks at a time. You could run this for a couple of months at a time and then see your results. You don't necessarily have to keep it ongoing. You will get better results if you keep it ongoing. That is very true. You do not have to run it all day, every day, forever. 6 by 30. I'm not sure I understand that comment, Sheila.
I think she means $6 by times 30 days, I would imagine.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
I think the math is technically like 31.1, or maybe it's 30.1 or something like that. Only because I use the average that there are 4.3 weeks per month, because some months have more weeks than others. So that's, anytime I calculate, I consider that the number of weeks per month is 4.3. And just keep that in mind. That's all built into the calculator that I'm going to give you guys today too. All right, so some of you are a little bit worried that you're like, hey, that's still almost $200 a month, and I don't know if I can afford that. Well, let's talk about that ATM method. If you could put $20 into an ATM and get even $50 back, would you do it for that return on investment with $30? I'm going to show you exactly how that works. So example number 1, let's assume you have a CPC of $10 per prospect. That CPC is cost per click. If you don't remember, that is the how much did we spend in total on our campaign divided by how many clicks did we actually get to our website, our landing page, whatever you might have. Okay. Your ad budget is $181 a month. That's at $6 a day. 181 divided by 10, because of your cost per click, gives you 18.1 prospects. Okay. Let's assume your conversion rate is 50%. That's a good guess. If you don't know, conversion rates do vary by industry specifically. 50% of 18.1 gives you 9.05. Now, you can't have 0.05 of a person, so let's round down to 9 clients. This is how many people you're actually converting from your paid ad to they've clicked on your website to now you've actually converted them into a paid client. So they went from that prospect phase to that client phase. Okay, let's assume your average order value is $97. This would be your actual product or service itself. So how much do you sell your product or service on average? Let's assume it's $97. 9 clients pay you $97. That's $873. $873 is your revenue. $873 minus $181 for the ads that you purchased gives you $692 of pure profit or your return on investment. Would you put $181 into an ATM if you knew that you could get $692 back every time? Leave it in the comments. Let me know. Yeah. Okay, let's do another example. Example number 2. Let's assume your cost per click is still $10. Your ad budget now is maybe $15 a day or $4.52. You're going to get 45.2 prospects out of that. Let's assume you have a conversion rate of 50%. So half those prospects actually convert into paying clients. 50% of 45.2 is 22.6. You can't have 0.6 of a person. Let's round down to 22. Let's assume your order value is still 97. So whatever whatever you're selling your product or service for is $97 worth. 22 clients are paying you $97. That's $2,134. That's your revenue. You subtract the amount that you actually had to spend on the ads, and you have $1,682 of pure profit. What do we think about that so far? Are we understanding the math so far? Sheila says, heck yeah. How are we feeling about the math portion so far? I want to check in and make sure that the audience is getting this.
Yeah, that seems, while everybody's answering, maybe it seems like you're having a perfectly working slot machine in your favor all the time.
Yes. If you optimize your ads and if you're speaking to the right audience, 100%. Like, it's almost a guarantee. It's incredible. Math works. That's right. I love this comment. Math works. Thank you. All right, I'm going to show you, I think my next slide was my free tool. Of course, the age-old question. Yes. All right. So let me show you the calculator that I'm going to give you guys today. And Katrina, if you could make sure that pops up. Perfect. All right. And I also would like to share this with the actual community. What's the best way to share a link with our community right now, Katrina?
I'm on mute here. Maybe you send it to me afterwards, and then I put it into the classroom directly.
Okay. Let me go ahead and I'll send you a quick message on school, and that way, if you're able to get it out through YouTube or something, people can also like look at it.
Yes.
Download it as they want. Okay.
I think Sheila just had a quick question. Did I miss the click amount?
The cost per click amount in that last example was $10. Are you asking how I come up with that? That is, that sounds more like the question, is how do you come up with the cost per click?
Yeah.
The cost per click amount is the total amount that you have spent on ads divided by the number of people who actually click on your website or your landing page or wherever it is that you're trying to send them to. So let's say you spend, let me pull out a calculator. My mental math is never good, but good old calculator. Let's assume that you spend $200 on paid advertising. And that's going to be for traffic campaigns specifically. We're going to talk about that later. Okay. Let's assume you spend $200 and you have 10 people click on the website. Well, now your cost per click is 20, which is pretty high, but we'll get to that later. If you have 20 people who click, now your cost per click is 10, and so on and so forth. If you don't know what your cost per click is yet, I would assume a high number like 15 or so, maybe even 20 to start with. And we're going to talk about later how you can actually do a test campaign. We're going to talk tomorrow about how you can do a test campaign and then reduce that cost per click, because the lower your cost per click is, the more return on investment you're going to see, the better your return on investment is going to be, because you're not paying as much for people to see it. So if you remember the screenshot of the Meta Facebook ads I just showed you that I did for the gaming company, the cost per click was like 0.02 or something, which is incredible. That's an ideal world. All right. let's talk about this free tool. Katrine's going to make sure that you get this as well. I've just sent her the link, but this is a digital ads calculator, and there's actually 3 different tabs on here. We're going to talk about the other 2 later today. But the first one that we're focused on is what's called the ROI calculator and data sheet. And this first section that's kind of in the pink terracotta type color, this is what you're going to manually fill out. What's down here in this cream color is all going to be auto-calculated for you. So we're going to do an example together. So let's say that you have a digital notebook you sell. You can plop that in here. And somebody tell me in the comments, how much do you want to spend on your ads for your notebook in a month? Somebody just put a number out for me.
I think there's always a small delay, really.
Yeah, that's all right. All right. Shalane, I don't know if I'm saying your name correctly, but she says $200. So that's your ad spend for the month. Let's assume at this point that your average cost per click is at $10. And again, we're going to talk about how you can optimize for that later. And let's assume that your percentage, your conversion rate percentage is still that 50%. And let's assume that your order value is like $120. That's how much you're going to charge for your product or service. It does all this math automatically for you. It'll show it here so that you can see it. But then it's going to tell you that your return on investment is $1,000. Okay. We can do another example. Let me see. Let's assume you want to spend like $450 on ads. And let's assume that you actually have optimized your ads to have a cost per click of only $5, which is much better. And you still convert that 50%. Let's say your order value is still that $120. Now you've got a much higher ROI of $4,950. Okay.
That's great. So it really works, adding more money and lowering your CPC is the ultimate thing to do.
Yep, absolutely. So we're going to talk about how you can set up a test to make sure, really the test is to ensure that you are hitting the right audience first. Once you know that you're hitting the correct audience, then you can set up your funnel. When you have set up your funnel and you let it run for a little bit, you're going to get some more data from this, like the cost per click or your conversion percentage. If you're not already tracking that, you should definitely start. And that is going to help you determine so much better how to optimize your ads and how to get more out of your work for trying to convert clients and so on and so forth.
That's great. So would you suggest that the conversion rate of 50% should be the mark to go for, or
it really depends on your industry, and that's a hard question to answer without doing specific industry research, because I like to use 50 as kind of the average benchmark if you don't know what your conversion percentage is. But if you are a fitness or a gym person, for example, conversion rates are usually pretty high. Now, your attrition for keeping clients tends to be very low. That's just a normal thing in gyms, fitness studios of any kind. You might have a conversion rate of like 80%, but how long those people stay could be a month, could be 6 months, but it's usually not the full year, unfortunately. Whereas if you are more of a like very specific skill set into like freelancer, so maybe you create software for people or something like that, you are probably not going to have nearly as high of a conversion rate because your product is more expensive for one. Your conversion rate might only be like 20%, but what you're selling is also of a much higher value. Typically, you might be making thousands in one sale versus a fitness studio that's probably making anywhere between 20 and $100 and something a month. So
Yeah, I've seen that. That's absolutely right. Like the customer lifetime value for different products do vary quite a bit.
yeah,
In general, we have 3 years, for example, as a lifetime value average.
that's still
And
great.
yeah, that is a really nice one. But then I can see why a gym membership, for
Yeah.
example, would be much, much lower because
Yeah.
people first first
Yeah.
January, right? They all want to go, and then
Yeah,
it figures out.
gyms are notorious for horrible attrition rates, essentially, but
Yeah,
it's just the name of the game for them a lot of times. And I guess one benefit they do have is typically the people who quit their programs also tend to come back to them multiple times. So
true. That is so true because they feel bad then at the end of the year, and then they try it again in
yeah,
January. So that's a good thing to keep in mind as well. And I guess if you would be able to also get your customers in, but have, and I think you mentioned that in the beginning, have products you can sell then even afterwards. That is probably a really good thing to do or have for retention. You get them maybe in for like, a smaller amount of value, but then afterwards you can sell them maybe into one-on-one
yeah.
consultations or anything like this.
Usually the name of business game is like you want to get really good at one specific product or service, but then once you've optimized that one product or service, now you can add in other things that would just increase your overall average customer value. So what else does your customer need, essentially,
Right.
and what else can you sell them? And that's you want to get really good at one thing first, but then once it's like established and you've got systems and things are running mostly on their own, now, okay, great, what else can our customer use?
Right. And you can't do it all at once. I
Yeah.
think Shalane was just asking, will you be teaching us how to filter to find out our target market in this workshop?
So to find your target market, yes and no. So Katrine has got a AI prompt that's going to help you establish what your target market should probably be.
Yeah.
And that's a great starting point if you just have absolutely no idea. I think that's fantastic. And then I am going to show you tomorrow how you are going to set up a test campaign and then what to look for in that test campaign after you run it for 1 week to see if you actually are hitting your ideal target or not. Basically, you're going to be looking at your cost per click amount, and if it's too high, that's a good indicator that you probably haven't actually hit your target audience yet.
Got it. And she had one more additional thing. Perhaps I didn't word that correctly. I'm in a very niche industry, equine aromatherapy. So I wondered if you're going to teach us how to target my ad to find someone who would be interested. Equine aromatherapy.
Yeah, again, it'll come through. The AI prompt can definitely help with that. And then when you do your test campaign, that's going to be a really great indicator for you, because if your cost per click, basically I've got a sheet that I'm going to give you tomorrow, a checklist that says if your cost per click is like $15 or lower per person, then you're probably on the right path and you just need some optimization help. And that's also where the funnel will come in to help with that. It'll continue to lower that amount. But if you're like $16 or higher in a cost per click, you're probably not hitting the ideal target audience at that point. You're probably hitting somebody that's going like, that's kind of cool, but I probably wouldn't buy that. So.
Yeah. And just quickly to the prompt, Shalane, as well, it's win number 1. It's in the classroom as well under day 1. So you can also try that prompt out too.
And yeah, no worries about jumping ahead. It's a fantastic question. There's probably other people thinking it too.
Yeah.
And we will definitely cover that a little bit more in detail with that checklist for sure too.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. All right. Quick recap on this budgeting tool, just to show you exactly how it works, where it says examples or product E, F, G, so on and so forth here in this bar. I want to make sure I highlight it so you can see it. You can name this whatever your product or service is, and you would use one column per product or service. So if you have multiples, this budget list can help you figure out what you want to spend and how much you can expect back on any of your products or service when it comes to digital ad campaigns. Again, you're going to plug in manual amounts in this terracotta color, and then everything is going to auto calculate for you in the cream, with the return on investment being the very last bar at the bottom so that you can see, if I spend this much amount, how much can I approximately estimate to get back, which is fantastic.
I love how you made it so simple to use. Thank you so much for
Thank
that.
you. And this is just a Google Sheet. So when you open up the link after Katrine sends it to you, just open it. You can make a copy or save as and name it as whatever you want to name it as. And then you can have it in your own Google Drive or just sitting on your computer in your documents or something, wherever you prefer. Okay, let's go back to the presentation. Okay, so some pro tips. We kind of already talked about this because Katrine actually pointed it out, but budgeting and optimization. So your results are first off going to scale with your budget. So if you are utilizing this strategy and maybe you're starting with like $181 a month, like we talked about earlier, but now you're starting to see some sales, you're starting to see some return on investment, take some of that return on investment and reinvest for the next month or the next month after that, right? Because if I can change my ad budget to be 181 to like $400 or $500 a month, and again, as long as you're not going to be capped on whatever your work is, so if you have a digital product, there is no cap, right? Just continue to reinvest and you're going to make more and more money that way. Love the details in your spreadsheet being in accounting / tax in former corporate. That's awesome. Fantastic. I'm very humbled to have an accountant say that they like that, because I am so not an accountant. That's very kind.
Yeah, Kim is amazing. She's got everything laid out in spreadsheets, so she's super organized, so she will appreciate that very much.
Yeah. I need a spreadsheet because I can't do any mental math to save my life whatsoever. My brain panics. It's like, okay. And I'm also like kind of OCD, so I have to, even if I know what the number is, I force myself to check it like 3 times because I need to be sure.
You're not alone with that.
So again, when it comes to budgeting, the more that you spend, as long as your funnel is set up correctly, as long as it's optimized, the more that you're naturally going to make. Like, that's just, it's a fact. So it's really incredible. And depending on what kind of work you do, that is the most ideal situation for you. If you sell a digital product, you know, it's only going to balloon and it doesn't require any more work from you, which is amazing. When it comes to optimization, this is where optimization could cover so many things, but like, what kind of content are you actually using for your ads? What does the hook say? What does the CTA say? All those little things. But as you continue to optimize and just kind of experiment with things, that cost per click should go down. It should get lower. And that is just going to increase your return on investment as well. If that cost per click is dramatically smaller, and if your average order value is higher, then your return on investment is going to be way higher. Okay. Module 3, all right, this is the funnel structure and retargeting strategy. So this is kind of like the bread and butter of what I specifically want to teach when it comes to this workshop about how to actually set up your ads. All right, so I've got this nice little green triangle. You kind of saw this earlier. We're going to break down what it actually means. Hopefully most of you are familiar with kind of the funnel strategy. That's sort of what you do in any marketing. And today we're specifically talking about digital ads, but even when it comes to like your email nurture sequence, when it comes to even talking to people at like booth festivals or going into a business to talk to them, like any of this kind of stuff, you're generally going to see some sort of funnel strategy. It starts with a lot of people towards the top, and then you're sort of narrowing down to the people that actually buy from you because they are the right fit for your audience type. With paid ads, it's very, very easy to set this up and let it run on automation so that it doesn't require you anymore. And that's what we're talking about today. So the first part, the first piece of your campaign, or the first campaign of your funnel, I should say, is an awareness campaign. A lot of you are probably familiar with awareness campaigns. They can also be called consideration campaigns on some platforms. But awareness is all about just trying to get views on your ad. They're impressions. Impressions is typically what the data will say in whatever platform you're using. So I want you to imagine that you are on Facebook and you are just, scrolling on your phone. and an ad for a mattress pops up, okay? And you like see it and you just keep scrolling because like you have no interest in a mattress right now, okay? You have seen it. That is an impression. That's the awareness campaign, okay? Even if you just keep scrolling, you don't like it, you don't look at it, you don't buy anything, you just saw it and you keep scrolling. That's awareness. The second piece of this funnel is the engagement campaign. Engagement is just referring to the likes, the comments, the shares. I think they even count saves now. Like you can save post on Facebook. I don't think anybody really does that very often, but I think technically you can. But for the purpose of this workshop, we're talking about likes, comments, and shares. So this is now you're scrolling on Facebook and you see the mattress ad come up again. You click on the comments because you're curious what other people are saying about this mattress. And maybe most of the comments are very positive. Maybe the comments are tagging their husbands and wives in it to be like, hey, honey, look at this mattress. What do you think? Like that's your engagement campaign. The last one is going to be traffic. And traffic is all about getting you to click on a button that takes you to a different link. So that's usually your call to action that says, to learn more, visit blah, blah, blah. To get 50% off, visit blah, blah, blah. To save your spot, visit blah, blah, blah. Those are all call to actions. Those are all links. Those are all traffic campaigns. So now let's imagine that you're scrolling on Facebook. You see a same mattress ad and it's 4th of July. They've got a sale going on and it's like, say, get $500 off your mattress when you buy today only, 24 hours, blah, blah, blah. You click on the link. That is your traffic ad campaign. Let's talk about the structure. When we're talking about retargeting, what I mean by that is the only people who are going to see your traffic campaign are the people who have already seen your engagement campaign. The only people who are going to see your engagement campaign are people who have already seen your awareness campaign. Okay. This is very important because basically what you're doing is you're developing trust over time. So take that mattress ad idea again. You're on Facebook, you're scrolling, you're just trying to see like posts from your friends or cute cat videos or whatever you're on Facebook for. You're not looking for a mattress ad, but boom, mattress ad pops up. The first time you see that, you're probably just going to keep scrolling and not think even a second about it. You're just going to be like, boring, right? You're on Facebook the next day, boom, mattress ad again. Another awareness ad. You still might not think much about it. Boom, mattress ad. Boom, mattress ad. Boom, mattress ad. Over the course of like a week. On like the 7th or the 12th time, usually somewhere in between there, it's statistically proven, you start looking at that mattress ad and you go, that's kind of a nice mattress. Okay. Then one day you wake up and your back's hurting. What shows up for you? That mattress ad commercial again. Okay. And now you're going, you know what? Maybe I should start looking into mattresses. Like it's about time I replace my mattress. My back is hurting. I'm not sleeping as well anymore. And you tag your husband or wife and you go, hey, what do you think about this mattress? Right? Engagement campaign. Okay. And then before you know it, maybe a month or so has passed and you went from never knowing about that mattress brand, never seeing anything from them, to you saw like 7 or 12 awareness campaigns from them. You tagged your husband or wife in them, and now you're thinking about buying from them, right? This is especially successful if you use video ads, because video ads allow you to actually target people who have specifically watched a percentage of your video. It's my personal favorite, and it's what most companies are doing nowadays. So you see an awareness ad for a mattress company. Does anybody remember? I don't even remember what mattress it was anymore, but there was some mattress ad where people would like jump on the bed and they'd put like a glass of wine on the mattress or something to show that it wouldn't spill. Does anybody remember that? Imagine that that's the video that you see on Facebook. And first of all, you're kind of impressed. You're going like, wow, that glass of wine isn't spilling, even though people are jumping on the bed with it, right? And that's your awareness one. You're seeing it, and assume that you watch at least 75% of that video. Now they can target you with an engagement campaign and let's assume you watch 75% of that engagement campaign video, which by the way can be the same video. It doesn't have to be a different one. It can be the same one. And now they can target you with the traffic one. So what that looks like is it might be the same exact video, but maybe the copywriting's a little different. So the awareness campaign might just be like, check out how this wine glass doesn't spill on the mattress. You know, that's kind of the awareness copywriting. The engagement one might be like, wouldn't your husband or wife love to sleep on a mattress this soft that like they don't feel you moving around because they're jumping on the bed and the wine glass isn't falling over? And then like the traffic one is like, here's our sale, come get $200 off. Is this making sense? I'd like to hear from our watchers and see. Katrine, do you have any thoughts on this? Is this all new to you?
Yeah, no. So yes and no, because I've been doing ads, but I mentioned to you I'm specifically the lead generation ads. So, but the awareness and engagement and traffic, and I can so feel what you were mentioning with you see the ads over and over again, and then you tell your husband, I feel like they are watching me or they know what I want because the ad comes up in the first moment when you open up Facebook.
Yeah,
but I think that's actually exactly what they handle on the back end, right? Where they say, okay, now we had 75% view of this video, let's put it in front of them again. So it's not all magic and everything is happening. It's like literally strategically placed in front of you by the person who runs the ads.
And not that image ads can't be successful, they absolutely can, but video is so much more powerful. So if you're going to set this up in your own business, I do encourage you to use video. And I have a list of other things that you can do as well. But yeah, video is really the way to go because it's just so incredibly powerful, both for capturing your audience and creating a hook and all those things, but also in your actual campaign setup, you are able to really, you can say, I want to target people who watch 50% of the video. I want to target people who watch 75% of the video. And that tool alone is really, really powerful.
It's really powerful. And as a newbie, let's say, to a business, as also to ads, I just know from my people often it's like, oh, I'm afraid to do video. Would it be also okay to maybe do screen sharing or anything like that?
Yeah, for sure. The advice I would give about video, because a lot of people, if they're apprehensive about getting on video, it's usually that they're like, I just don't think the quality is going to be good enough. Like, I don't have the right lighting. I don't know what to say. I don't want any of those things. And I'm just here to tell you, like, people do crave authenticity. So especially in the world of like AI right now, AI is very cool. But how many of you guys are seeing like super fake AI videos on social media right now? And people are already sick of it. And it's like, that's a new thing. But people are so over like, oh, this is AI. It's more AI crap. It's more AI crap. In the world of where AI is everywhere, people are going to crave authenticity. So if you can prove that, and this is getting kind of into a content blabbing moment, but if you can prove that you are a trustworthy individual who knows what they're talking about, who can prove that they know what they're talking about, and you just do that consistently, like you will get people interested in your stuff. And you can do that through all of your organic content that you post. And then you can just transform your organic content into this paid advertising that I'm talking about. You just take the same exact stuff that you've already made in organic content, and then you just create an awareness campaign out of that same video. You just create an engagement campaign out of that same video, and you just create a traffic campaign out of that same video. You don't have to create any more content. You might change up the copywriting a little bit to kind of serve the purpose of these campaigns, but that's it. And boom, you throw some money at it and let Google and Meta do what they do best.
So in this case, I would say AI is doing us a favor in being as authentic as possible.
Yeah. I actually really love AI in a lot of ways. I know some people are very controversial about it, and there are certainly good and bad uses of AI. But I think AI is a tool. AI is meant to help you produce faster. It is meant to help you come up with ideas. It's great to like kind of like, I love AI for brainstorming. Like if you're like, I just don't know what kind of content to make right now, run some ideas by AI and let's see what pops up. Like it can help you do a lot of great things. but can AI actually deliver the message, the teaching material, or the authenticity that's required in a video?
No, I think the video itself, exactly. That's what I'm thinking too. Is like, now is the time to prove yourself, get your face on camera, be out there, and act normal. Not act at all, I guess, just be you. Let's look at the questions we had. So Kimberly was saying, yes, and great example that is relatable. Exactly, you're talking or texting on iPhone, and all of a sudden you see it like that new car and this
right.
we're just talking about.
And they absolutely are listening and watching you. So
yeah, I do think so, for sure. Yeah. So Shalane was asking, how did I get the mattress ad in the first place, and why does it keep appearing if I wasn't interested and didn't respond?
That is a fantastic question. All right. It goes back to, hold on a second. It goes back to this. Specific equals sales, and it talks about targeting an audience specifically. So what those companies are doing, and what you're going to do with this funnel strategy, is your awareness campaign. You have to build an audience first in Google or Meta, and they'll help you do this to some extent, but you should at least have kind of an idea of what you want to target to. So the mattress ad campaign concept, let's use that. I'm a brand new company. I'm selling mattresses. Nobody knows about me yet. Nobody's heard of my brand, but maybe I've just opened up in my local area, and I live in Middle Georgia specifically. So let's say I'm opening up in Middle Georgia. I am going to look at creating an audience in Meta that is specific to the Middle Georgia area, that is probably going to target most likely women. Not that men don't buy mattresses, but let's be honest, most women tend to make houses homes more than men do. So I'm most likely going to target women in my case. I will probably want to target people that make a certain salary or are in certain jobs that make a certain salary. So especially if I sell some really like high-end mattresses or something, it does not make sense to target somebody of a lower income. So I want to think about salaries or jobs that might be like a higher income if I'm a luxury brand. Okay. Current relationship status. Maybe I want to target specifically like newlyweds or engaged couples, because they're going to be like getting a house together soon. They're probably going to be moving in together soon. Maybe they're going to be looking out for furniture. Maybe I even want to target, and maybe I even want to target people with other spending habits or hobbies and interests. And so I'm targeting people who already like to shop at stores that are in my local area. I'm targeting people who are already looking at home furniture needs. I'm targeting people who are looking at bed sheets and pillowcases and pillows and all those things. And when you start to combine that, you're creating a very specific audience. Chile says, okay, that also answered my earlier question. I'm targeting for an ad. I guess the copy hasn't kicked in. They got more. Totally understand. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's all about, you will create an audience. That's like one of the first steps when you go to build a campaign in general in Meta or Google. You'll have to create an audience, and you are going to create an audience with these things in mind. And that's how you start to narrow down who your actual ideal audience is. And you may go back, you may set it up, this week, and then in a year you're going, hey, I've got a better idea about who my audience actually is, and I need to go like back in and cater to it. And Katrina and I were actually talking about this a little bit earlier today. And if you watch that video she shared of Alex Hormozy and I apologize, I don't remember the other guy's name, but the guy from Soul. Thank you. If you listen to that, they talk a little bit about how Meta and Google have gotten so good at helping you find the right audience as well, which is very, very helpful. It's very interest-based. And so what they mean is there used to be this world where on social media you would have to do like trending stuff to get your stuff seen, because you would have to do, oh, man, I can't even think of what a trend is right now, which is embarrassing, but like, I don't know, what's an old trend? Like the Harlem Shake thing. Does anybody remember that from whatever many years ago? You'd have all these companies creating funny like Harlem Shake videos and photos and stuff, all because it would create a lot of views on that particular piece of content, which if you got a lot of views on one piece of content would naturally generate a lot more views on the rest of your content. It doesn't work that way anymore, and thank goodness it doesn't, because that's a horrible way to do things. Now, you create content that you specifically know your type of audience will be interested in. So, did somebody say they did like aromatherapy or something earlier?
Yeah, that was Shalane, actually. She mentioned equine aromatherapy.
So I don't know much about aromatherapy myself, but I imagine that if I'm somebody that likes aromatherapy, you know, a big part is that I'm really into maybe what the different scent blends can do, and what, like, how they smell, and what, because my understanding is you like mix different oils to create kind of different blends. And I imagine I would be interested in something like that. And I might even be interested in seeing like how somebody chooses to mix things, or maybe I'm also interested in things like yoga, or maybe I'm also interested in things like just whole foods and natural things. And so you might make content that's all kind of around that same genre, and
So
those type of
actually,
people will come.
oh, sorry. Yeah, so it seems like I just had this thing. It's like almost reverse engineering. So if
Yeah.
somebody is so interested in your niche, let's say equine aromatherapy, that means they like pets, they like horses, maybe they like to be surrounded by groups that go out for dog walking or anything like this. So you reverse engineer from your niche out to a bigger picture a little bit. Is that, could I look at this like this, for example?
Yeah. Yeah. For sure. It's about trying to get into the head of your potential client. And ideally, I don't want to say it's easy, but it is simple, because usually if you're starting a business, it is because you have already experienced the pain point of whatever your business is trying to solve. So for me as a freelancer, um, I was a COO who had no idea how to run a business for many years, and that was a struggle. There were plenty of fires that happened, and plenty of fires had to put out. And as a result, I gained experience. But now I also know that there are other COOs and other business owners that are probably where I was like 10 years ago, 12 years ago, who are like, they're running the business, but they have no idea how to run the business more efficiently or effectively. And that's kind of what I come in and help do now. If you are in the business of being a fitness coach, you were probably like overweight or depressed or something at one point in your life that led you to fitness, and fitness solved that thing for you. And now you've decided to be a fitness coach, right? Like we typically don't start businesses just because like they make good money. Obviously, we hope to make some good money out of it. But typically, you start a business because you have already experienced whatever the pain was that led
Yeah.
to that business.
Yeah, I would agree. And I think when I think of Kimberly, I know she's doing a wellness business right now, but if she were to do and run targeting ads towards her tax accounting business, if she would be doing this one, it's because she has 20 years of experience, or 30 maybe,
Yeah.
and did this. Okay, yeah, no, this makes so much sense. What? Oh, and she says now explains why I see high protein videos, because I'm saving the videos or home decor too. Yep, they know everything.
That's interesting. Probably, I don't know. There might be like other, like if you're watching fitness videos or something. There's also something to be said for when you get really good at this stuff, and ads are shown to you. You start looking at it in ways of like how it could be improved. Like I get ads sometimes, and I'm like, I already like bought this thing, and so they don't need to show me ads anymore. Or vice versa. Um, I don't know, like you will see, for example, I live in Middle Georgia, but occasionally I've gone to visit like Vegas or something. I will see ads that pop up for me that are for companies that are in Vegas, but they're for like people who would live in Vegas. So it might be like gym memberships or something there. I look at that kind of stuff and I'm going, somebody on that team needs to optimize their ads better because I don't live in Vegas. Like you start looking at stuff like that and you're like, this could be optimized better.
Let me send them a message and give them my number.
It's funny when stuff like that happens.
Angeline says, or if you're even talking about something, it hears you and you will get ads on it.
It absolutely does. Your phone is listening to you, 100%. It's even been, they even say that like if you take a photo on your phone, that like the AI and stuff is getting so good at detecting like the air in the photo, like particles in the air, that it will. So for example, if Katrina and I both are at a music concert at the same time, maybe we didn't go together, but like she's in the stadium and I'm in the stadium and we're across from each other somewhere. And I take a photo and she takes a photo and we both upload it to Facebook. It can supposedly detect that you were at the same event, even if you did not say you went together or anything like that. It is getting that good at recognizing stuff. Plus you have like geo-tracking and all these other things usually enabled as well. So
yeah, it's time to get these clip phones back, or what are they called? These folding phones.
I have somebody that they got kind of like panicked about how much tech is tracking them, and they were like, "How do I remove all this stuff? Like, I want to live in a cave and be a hermit, and I don't want anybody tracking me." And my dad, who is into like he investigates fraud cases and things like that when people steal your identities. He's like, man, it's almost like peeing in a pool. Like once it happens, it's almost impossible to erase. It's crazy.
Yeah, I think there is nothing where we can really hide anymore too much unless you live in a cave, maybe without any electronics.
Yeah, but you would have had to like start that way.
Yeah, that's true.
No, I mean, I guess some people do it, but at the same time. I've turned off location settings in IG and need to do it on other tools. Yeah, I do encourage that just for personal safety, if nothing else. If your kids have like Snapchat, especially if you have children and they have Snapchat, please make sure that location feature is turned off, because that is crazy that anybody on Snapchat can find you anywhere, and that's really terrifying.
Don't use it.
Yeah, I don't like Snapchat anyways, but I'm also older and maybe I just don't get it, but your kids and stuff, that's like their way of communicating is like Snapchat and stuff, a lot of them, and they use it every single day. They use it like texting, and that's that's their culture. We all go through our trends, different generations, but that location feature is terrifying, absolutely, because it will pinpoint almost exact where you are. All right, let's keep going. We've got a few more minutes. Let's go. We did all this. 1 second. Aha. All right. How to build and retarget audiences. So we mentioned a little bit, like if you don't have an audience at all, like what do you do? And that's where the AI tool can help you kind of create one. You're going to build one in Meta or Google specifically to kind of help you find your initial targets. But let's say you do have a little bit of an audience, you can also use that pre-existing audience to help you build your audience on Google and Meta. And so, for example, if you have a CSV file for all of your website visitors, and if you're not sure what I'm talking about, CSV file, depending on who your website host is and all that stuff, and if people had to opt in or anything, if people opt in, usually there's some kind of record of that in your website hosting platform. I use Hostinger, but like WordPress, Wix, any of those, if you have like an opt-in feature where people add their name or their email to something, then it is likely creating a CSV file for you somewhere in that platform that you can go and download and then upload to Facebook, or I should say Meta and Google, to help create your audience. Now, you should only do that if you have explicitly stated in your privacy policy on your website that people's information may be used on Meta or Google. If you do not have that in your privacy policy, then it is not legal for you to do something like that. So do be aware of that. And I'm not like an attorney or anything, but so I recommend finding an attorney to help create your privacy policy, but you should be aware of that. People who have already liked or followed you, this one's super easy, but if you've already got like so many followers on Facebook, of course you can create an audience out of them, which is fantastic. So if you've already been creating organic content on there, you can build an audience out of that. Your email list. So this is kind of your opt-in as well, but it could be different from your opt-in depending on what you've been doing on your website. So some people might have to opt in to get a digital product from you, and you have that CSV file from your website specifically, but maybe you also use a separate like email campaign system. So MailChimp or your CRM has a built-in email one, something like that. And again, you can create a CSV file based off your email list specifically and upload that to Google or Meta. And again, make sure that it's in line with your privacy policy. We talked a little bit about the video view retargeting. So this is specifically going back to our funnel. What you can do is create a video awareness campaign. You can then retarget the people who watch, like it can be whatever percentage you want, but I would recommend like at least 60%. You can retarget people who have watched at least 60% of your video to be on the engagement campaign. And then you can retarget people who watched 6% of that video to be receiving your target one. And then you can create lookalike audiences. And this is a really fantastic tool. I would recommend this after you do your testing and you kind of set up the initial funnel. But lookalike audiences are a really powerful tool that specifically I think Meta came up with first, but Google does it as well, where it looks at the data from your current audience and it kind of tries to find people similar to that for you. So you are not necessarily building out the audience. You're not giving it information, but it's going, well, if people like you, if these types of people like you, I think these types of people will also like you. And you're able to narrow that down by percentage. And again, specific equals sales. So you don't want a lookalike audience that's like 50% because that's quite a large, broad amount of people. But if you're like, I want the 1 or 2% that match my current audience, then you're creating a bigger space of people that are very, very similar, which is very cool. Any questions about this part?
I'm going to start while others maybe come back in. Is there a certain number you would say you should have on your email list before you can use the list, or a certain number of, let's say, Facebook page followers or group members, or so when you create a lookalike audience?
I would say you can put those in anytime that you want, technically. I will say Meta, specifically, Meta, I don't think Google gives you the same warning. I could be mistaken. Meta will tell you that it cannot create enough data unless there's at least 100 contacts on there. So if you give it a website list and you say, I want you to build a lookalike audience off this website list, but you have like 90 website contacts, it will tell you this is not enough data for me to create a lookalike audience, essentially, which is understandable. Like there's just not enough people for it to duplicate the type of people that you're looking for. But you can still upload those website visitors and target those specific people in your ads who have already proven that they're interested in you in some way, shape, or form because they visited your website, right? So you can still, what this does is it's literally taken the same email of the person that visited your website. And if they have, say, a Meta account, they're on Facebook or they're on Instagram, it's going to show it to that same exact person. So maybe this is especially useful when you're talking about website to social media. This is especially useful for local businesses. If it's like, I'm looking for a fitness gym in my area, I visit a couple websites, boom, they're retargeting me through paid ads because I live in that area and now I'm in their campaign funnel. A lot of you I know have digital products, and so that's kind of less important for you, but it's still valuable. It's still great to take your website visitors, recreate them as an audience in Meta or Google, and then Meta and Google can, over time, as you get enough, create lookalike audiences from those people as well.
Great, thank you. Yeah. I didn't see more questions come in right now.
No.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about the actual budget part. So we talked about, like, what if you're going to spend $181 a month on budgets? For example, that would be that $6 a day that we talked about earlier. To break this down, I want you to spend 20% of your budget on awareness campaigns, 20% on engagement campaigns, and 60% in your traffic. And the whole reason is I kind of want, you're building trust throughout. So imagine that you go on a blind date with somebody and they propose to you on the first date. Wouldn't that seem really awkward? It'd be really weird, right? You'd feel like, okay, this date ends right now. I'm getting up and leaving.
Yeah, no, I would walk out. Ain't happening.
That's kind of what it feels like when you immediately try to sell somebody on something that they don't know who you are, right? Like, they're like, I don't even know who you are. I don't know what you do. And you're trying to sell me something. With this method, what you're doing is you're introducing yourself with the awareness campaign. You're getting to know them a little bit throughout the engagement campaign. And then you're putting a majority of your money to the people who are most likely to spend money with you. And this is how we help to optimize our ad budget, because what I don't want to spend $100 on people who don't know who I am, who are not likely to spend money with me yet. I want to spend $100 on the people who have heard of me, who know a little bit about me, who know what I'm about, who have already shown interest in my stuff because they've worked through this funnel. And now I'm spending money to show them even more things and to introduce them to the sales that I'm doing, or introduce them to my ultimate offer, whatever that is. Okay. So 20% in awareness, you're introducing yourself, 20% in engagement, they're getting to know you more, 60% of traffic.
So is that the 20-20-60 rule, basically?
Yes. Yep.
Yeah. So if I think of it on a daily, with my daily budget, it's like $1 on awareness, $1 on engagement, and then $4 on traffic, or something like that, if my math was right. But something similar, or
yeah. Yeah, and what I tend to do budgets. You can do budgets in two different ways, and my calculator has this for you too. I tend to like to think of budgets as like, how much am I going to spend in a month and how much am I going to receive in that month? Not that you have to run them for the full month, but I think it just helps planning wise. But yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
All right, let's go back to my digital ads calculator for you guys. I'm going to show you the other two tabs that I have. Let me pull that up. Perfect. So we showed earlier the one that we're currently on, the ROI calculator and data tool. Now I'm going to show you the limited time ad budget planner and the ongoing ad budget planner. Limited time specifically means like you're going to run this for 2 weeks, or you're going to run this for a month and you're just going to like stop after that, right? Ongoing ad budget planner calculates it in a month, but that just means that you're going to let it go on and on and on. Okay. This is basically the backwards math for the first one we did. So instead of looking at it as like, if I spend this much, what is my return on investment going to be? These calculated pages are going to be, if I want this much revenue, how much am I going to have to spend? All right, that's the difference. And again, just like the other, the top section that is in this like terracotta color is what you are going to manually fill out. The cream is all going to be auto-calculated for you, with the total ad spend being the last part, okay? And they are both exactly the same other than one line. The limited time allows you to add how many days you want to run a campaign for, so it can do the math for you. The ongoing budget assumes 30.1 for a monthly budget for you, okay? One other note from this is that the data for this to be calculated is pulling from the first sheet, is pulling the product names, which is this section up here where it currently says like example 1, 2, notebook, example 4. Earlier I wrote notebook. You'll see that it says that on this page now. It's pulling that. It's pulling the average cost per click, the average conversion percentage, and the average order value, all from the first sheet that we looked at earlier. So basically, if you make sure that this top section is whatever you want it to be, then the other pages will calculate for you automatically. Okay, so let's assume that this month you want to make $5,000. And let's assume you're going to run a campaign for 25 days. To make $5,000 and run the campaign for 25 days, and we assume that your average cost per click is $10, that's on the first sheet. Your average order value is 97, that's on the first sheet, and your conversion percentage is at 50, that's on the first sheet. Then it tells you are going to have to spend $1,030 and some change on ads.
I love that. It's so good to see, because this way you can really imagine, okay, I often start out in my teachings, and years ago I started this, is like, how much do you want to make per month? And then let's calculate back all the steps you actually need to take in order to, and this is exactly beautifully working like this, because it gives you an idea of, I need to put some ad spend money amount aside, and I need to think about a marketing budget, and I have a business, right? So people that often start creating a business, they don't think of a marketing budget at all. I didn't. In the beginning, I didn't even like, what? I was with the first person I tried to hire, and they were asking, it's like, so what's your ad spend, or what's your marketing budget? I'm like, zero.
You're like, what's a marketing budget?
Well, how would you like to grow? Well, I guess organically. I'm like, well, good luck with that. See you back in 10 years, maybe.
I do tell everybody, like, I think you do need some organic content if you're going to do paid ads, honestly, because it helps to make your paid ads easier. Right. Like, your paid ads don't have to be this new or different thing from your organic content. You can literally pull from your organic content to create your paid ads. You're just basically telling Meta or Google, I want to give you money for you to show this to more people, which is fantastic. But like, let's not create it complex on ourselves by trying to make some new thing for our paid ads. So I do recommend like a little bit of a library of organic content before you start paid ads. You don't have to have it, but it's nice to have, because then you're able to see the data of like, oh, well, this organic content already performed well. Let me just use it for my awareness campaign or something like that.
Yeah, 100%.
Kimberly.
Love how this helps to plan a budget and think about specific product services to offer, as I have several things I could offer in my notes today.
Yeah, and I tried to give you guys several columns so that even if you just had ideas, maybe you weren't even producing something yet, but you had ideas about what you wanted to produce, you could plug it in here and see if it's like a viable option, right? Because some business ideas that you have sound really great, but then like you can't sell them for a lot of money, or it takes like a lot of time and effort to create. And it's hard for you to get that return on investment, kind of depending on what it is. So you will also notice, let's do a little test here. So again, some of the data on this second and third sheet, like the cost per click and the average conversion percentage, is pulled from the first sheet. So let's say you optimize your cost per click so that now you're only like spending $2 cost per click. And let's say your average conversion percentage stays, actually. We won't even affect that. It'll stay at 50%. Now you can see that in order to make $5,000, like your original goal, your ad spend is only $206 now, which has dropped dramatically from like 1,030 something it was a second ago. Right? It's the power of like optimizing that cost per click range. Okay. And of course, if you can come in here and adjust any of this that you might want to. Generally, if your cost per click is anywhere between like $2 and $5, I say that you're still on the right track. 7 is okay. If you start hitting like 10, 12, any of those numbers, you probably need to optimize a bit better. But let's say you're somewhere in the median of like 5% or $5, sorry. And let's say you are able to convert like 80% of your clients. Maybe you have like a digital product that is really easy to buy. It's not super expensive, like anything under $100, most people can afford reasonably well, generally. And let's say you want to make like 15,000 this month and you're going to run it for 30 days. You can see that you need a ad spend of just under $1,000, $966.
Isn't that compelling?
Yeah. Imagine spending less than $1,000 and you potentially make 15,000.
Why would you struggle to do everything organic?
Yeah. Yeah.
Literally, there is so much work involved in organic traffic. And I did it for the first years of my business because I was afraid of ads, to be honest. And it's like, I could have saved myself so much pain. And also, to be honest, also, you can never keep up with getting new clients in the organic way as you can in a paid way.
And this is also like, I'll show one more thing. So I showed at the beginning of today the actual ads I created for the Kickstarter campaign where I raised. I raised with we did organic stuff. We had some great collabs and we did the paid trial. So do keep that in mind. But with all of that, we were able to raise $500,000 in only 10 days of the Kickstarter campaign. And then Katrina, if you can help make that.
Absolutely. Yeah. I was just astonished by keep on dreaming, Katrine.
This is that same Kickstarter campaign. You can see that our goal was 500,000, which we managed to achieve in 10 days. Now it's just running purely organically after the paid ads. We don't do any paid ads anymore, but we've continued to raise over 800,000 on that same Kickstarter campaign.
Yeah, incredible. And Kickstarter, you need to reach your goal, I think, to also get the payout. Is that still that? Yeah.
So Kickstarter, you have to make your goal in order to accept late pledges, which is what this one's doing right now. That's why it's gone from 500,000 to 800,000. So I think by the end of our campaign, I want to say we were around 600,000 or so. I don't quite remember. And then we've just accepted late pledges ever since, and it's over 800,000. And it's just sitting there at this point. Like, we're continuing to work on the product, but this is out there for people to pledge, and it's just open and available now, which is fun.
What was the product actually? You mentioned a game developer. Yes.
Yeah. It's for a video game company, and they're creating this product called the Wayward Realms right now.
Very cool.
All right. So that is the digital ads calculator that we just showed you. And again, Katrina's going to make sure that you get that. She'll provide a link for that.
Yeah, it's already in the classroom, by the way. I put it already in under day one, so everybody has access to it.
Perfect. So you can download that for free. If you want to call it something different, feel free to, of course. Upload it to your own. You can upload it to like Notion or your own Google Drive or whatever you want to do with it. And then you can use that to help figure out, like, again, page one is all about, if I spend this much money, how much return on investment can I possibly expect? Versus page 2 and 3 are all about, if I want to make this much money in this amount of time, what am I going to have to spend to help make sure I reach that goal, right? So that would be great if you're like specifically planning a launch and you're like, I know for a fact I'm going to launch this product in 90 days and I want to make sure that it does well. How much do I need to be able to spend on advertising? Okay.
You should totally sell this calculator.
Nah. I'm a big proponent of, like, knowledge should be free. And if you want my hands-on help with something, that's where I charge money for it. Because, like, obviously it takes my time, and, like, obviously I spend time with, like, I'll be on calls with people to understand what they really want and stuff. So obviously that takes quite a bit of time. But, like, at the end of the day, I love when knowledge is free, or at least very, very cheap, right? Like, if it's $10 or less.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Oh, it's beautiful. Thank you for giving it to us.
Yeah. All right. So this is officially the end of day one. Just to recap what we have covered. We talked about who this method is for. So basically, have you validated your product, and do you have a basic customer journey so that you can actually set up these digital ads, right? What's possible with this method. So again, I've showed you the budget calculator that can show you what's possible, but also know, like, I have personally done this, and we were able to raise $500,000 on Kickstarter in 10 days. I've created this for brick and mortar locations that have brought in paid trials. I've brought in over 2,000 attendees to a local event. Like, this is very possible. And especially in the digital world where it may not even depend on you being there physically. I mean, the capabilities are endless, right? Like, having an online workshop like this where anybody can attend is, the possibilities are endless as far as what you can do. We talked about a little bit about terminology, the fundamentals. Okay, I want to see it in the chat. Specific equals what? I want to see it. I want to make sure people got that part because that is so important. This is so basic. You've also got some free AI resources from Katrine. You've got the budgeting and ROI possibilities. You've got the free ROI tool. You've got the funnel and retargeting strategy. That was the awareness, the engagement, and the traffic funnel. We talked a little bit about what the differences are between those, how to build and retarget audiences, and then how to optimize your budget. And of course, the free budgeting tool. For anyone that is watching this, the rule is specific equals sales. Specific equals sales. Okay, tomorrow we are going to talk more about actual implementation. So today was a lot of strategy. It was a lot of the mind work behind it, a lot of the idea behind it. Tomorrow, I would love to see some people come in with whatever their aha moments are. So what did you hear today that made you go, oh, that makes sense, I'd love to hear what that is for you. And then we're going to talk about how to create a test that validates your audience. We're going to talk about the actual how to create campaigns on Google and Meta, the technical part of it that you may not know. I am going to pre-record those videos mainly because I don't want them to take up a lot of time from our workshop together tomorrow. And it'll be something that you can go back, rewatch, pause, go back, do the thing along with it as you need to. So I'm actually probably going to pre-record those after I get off this call today, but we'll have those available for you via a link after the workshop tomorrow or during the workshop tomorrow. I'm going to talk a little bit about other platforms. So with this workshop, we've been very specific on Google and Meta, which are two of the largest ones. So that's fantastic. But you can use the same strategy on LinkedIn, TikTok, those guys. And I'm going to talk a little bit about that tomorrow. Module 4 is going to be a checklist for you. So making sure that you have everything you need to actually build your campaign and also what to look out for. What I forgot to put on this list is that I'm going to give you a list of red flags to look out for. Primarily, it's going to be what data should you be looking at? And then answering the question of what should your ads actually be? And we talked a little bit about that today, but that's more around content strategy specifically. And then just any closing statements. And of course, we've got our follow-up day next week as well. So that's going to be it for today.
Amazing. And I think Kim got it. Specific equals sales.
That's right. Specific equals sales. Please, please, please remember that. None of this works if you don't follow that rule. None of this works if you don't follow that rule. Okay.
Yeah. Great student. Well, thank you so much for today. What's going to happen is the recording is up automatically, so that will be in there. The calculation worksheet from Google, the sheet you just gave us for the calculation of your ads, is in there already. You will have prompt 1 and 5 actually under day 1 as well. And I think that's pretty much it for today. We see you all back tomorrow, same time, same day. I know quite a few people will watch the replay, so if anybody isn't able to actually watch tomorrow or attend tomorrow, or the watchers from today will be having questions, just put them under the day 1 post and we can answer them tomorrow as well. So if there are any questions, just use the community and abuse it and let us know where we can help. So wonderful. Thank you so much, Victoria.
Thank you.
Let's take a deep breath. Let's get some food. Let's get some drinks, and then we'll see you back tomorrow. Thanks, everybody, for watching.
Thank you so much.
Ciao, ciao.